sent them here. For whatever be our watchword, conquer and prevail. Hail to thee, our alma mater, such plains then would all hail. When across the world we wander, this will be our song. Honor, love, and true devotion, all to here belong. For whatever be our watchword, conquer and prevail. Hail to thee, our alma mater, such plains then would all hail.
Good evening. Welcome to the Subtitles Board of Education. Board of Education meeting Thursday, April 25th, 2024. This is a round teaching online.
Ms. Barber,
Here.
Ms. Bauer,
Here.
Mrs. Laurel,
Here.
Ms. Brody,
Here.
Ms. Sirianni,
Here.
Ms. Williams,
Here.
Ms. Winkler,
Here.
Dr. Olkowski,
Here.
Ms. Murray.
And thanks, Mr. Jones, for the present. Please join me in the ready? Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just prior to coming out here in public and at our executive session, during the executive session, we discussed the personnel report, the HIB report, the suspension and detention report, and the legal status report. At this time, there are no issues to the agenda, and we will move to the superintendent's report. Dr. Nance?
This evening, my report is rather short, but you might have noticed that the weather is nice and the countdown to the end of the year is at about 7 weeks. And why that is particularly exciting is if you take some time and go to the district website, you will see that there are many celebrations and athletic games and ways to celebrate our students. So I would encourage everyone to pick something. For example, tonight I really got to watch our boys volleyball team crush Westfield in Seattle. It wasn't only the sweetness of the victory, but it was the talent of the players. So it's worth getting out there. And thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nance. This is administrative report, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, I'll go in on the report now. Stay well now. It's really open. And as we're in some summer season right now, so we're good this year. We did meet with this week and went over the latest results of the parent survey, significant improvement in grade school, and was very happy with how the service findings were that for the year, but for 1 year only. Sidewalk again, we will know what the on here. And then our next meeting will have some approval for construction for the space here, and have a major update on future planning for assessment for school year.
Thanks, Mr. Jones. Board President announcement. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Scotland Board of Education has closed notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Board of Education offices located at 512 Cedar Street, Scotland, New Jersey. Such notice is also provided in written notice and forwarded to the Union County Hall, the Star Ledger, The capture of success claims and our focus bandwidth in the annual notice of regularly scheduled meetings as adopted May 9th, 2023. Next one is the student representatives report.
As for sports, we're doing really well. Softball, our senior fans today.
I was here to check that.
It was pretty good. I had no business. Halfway through our scheduled games, and so boys and project actually like right now, so starting to be at 7. And then like 100 slacks relays, Spartan tomorrow, trackers at and relays, and the first will go back forward. Or children relays. And the team today, volleyball, as Mark said, like they want to be freshman, and they baseball one of the things that going on 18 seconds, which is not as fun as subject. But that's the first time was on May 6th, on last week on 14, and then it was around 22 contests that would be administered.
We have a lot going on in these departments this past month. We just had our music department trip in Boston. We're going to spend 4 days in Boston, exploring the city, and we're trying to go to competition, and our choirs and our bands did very well. We won a really large silver award, and it was a lot of fun. Also, earlier this month, our chamber choir performed at Carnegie Hall, and that was such an amazing experience. Just such a cool venue, such an iconic place. And in late March, we had the 27th annual New Orleans Jazz Festival, which hosted 12 top jazz bands from around the state, and they performed at high school and was running for that. This weekend we had Decca Nationals, which is in Anaheim, California, so we had 10 kids heading off there, and they were very proud to work there. So we had a lot of kids, a lot of pets running around high school, a lot of dogs, but the kids brought back to these things for the kids. They could milk around ice cream, big marble ramps, dirt cups, and play with all the animals in my environment science room. So it was a lot of fun to have some extra friends today.
Senior project. So usually it's my project or anything project. So you either like teachers or you can do a project you can use, and our last year was going to know what your teacher is. So I'm using what phases and going to
recognition and instructional updates. We're going to recognize the students family readers over this folder is going to be the presentation. We have Mr. Moscow some information about the team and how to introduce us to all of the members and have them come up as well.
Alright, is this on? Yes. Okay. Alright. Hey everybody. Congratulations again. That's number 3. So anyway. So to tell the story of our Overwatch 2 team and our Overwatch 2 season, I have to take you back to April 2nd, 2022, where a group of relative strangers, students, primarily freshmen and sophomores, hopped onto a bus and went to Rider University to play in the 2022 Overwatch Finals. On that day, we played in Deep 100 Central, who was the defending champion, but ended up losing in the state championship to the High Tech High Lasercats. I don't know if you guys knew this, I don't know if anybody knew this, but High Tech High's mascot is the Lasercats. That's crazy. What a name for a wrestler. But anyway, we came so close to winning the state championship with a group of freshmen and sophomores that day, and we did not leave that the tournament dejected. We left the tournament hopeful, and we left the tournament knowing that if we did a couple things differently, that we would have the capability of having something truly special here. So, I think it's important to be humble sometimes, but I'm not going to be humble anymore. Ever since that game, this team has not lost a game. And quite frankly, it hasn't been close. They've worked so hard in between that day and in between the next season to go all the way through and win the state championship and go undefeated and have a little bit of issues in our state championship game last year, but then knowing that we came close to losing it again in the state championship, working just as hard this past year and coming back even better to win another straight undefeated season. Like the closest thing, I was trying to think of ways to kind of explain like or compare what they have done. And without knowing like explaining how Overwatch works for 25 minutes, I really couldn't do that. If you're familiar with the 1992 Dream Team, who won the Olympics by like an average of like 45 points per game, the second that they walked out onto the court and they played for like 2 minutes, you're like, all right, well, this game's over. That's basically every single game that we have. And we were all against other best teams in the state. I remember we were playing, it was the state semifinals. We were playing against Passaic Tech, who at that point was also another undefeated team, actually seated higher than us by for some weird percentage point. And like we're in the middle of the third game, and I hear one of them talking about how they can't stand how much homework that they have to do after this, and another one talking about how excited they will be to take a nap after this game's over. Just like so much better than all of the rest of the competition that it really has been amazing to watch. As for this season, the biggest challenge that we probably had, Lewis, who has been one of our best players. This game requires a lot of teamwork, a lot of communication. Lewis is also on the bowling team. And Mr. Gracie, the bowling coach, has been very gracious in like letting us borrow Lewis from time to time. But we shifted the schedule up, and the bowling playoff dates and our playoff games run the exact same days. So we did not have Lewis for the majority of the season. But luckily, and I'll just use basketball as an analogy here. Imagine you're a basketball coach and you're sitting there and you find out that your top scorer from the year before isn't going to be on the team. Then you look at your computer and you get an email from somebody saying, hey, I'm one of the top 5 to 10% basketball players in the nation and I want to join your team. That is Antonio right here. We were so lucky to have somebody who can seamlessly walk into our team and quickly assimilate and become a part of it, and was willing to work really hard. Because again, this game is a lot about teamwork. If there's a weak link in the chain, if one person isn't doing their job in the game, then the whole chain is going to fall apart. And Antonio was assimilated very easily, and he was able to work with the rest of the team. And the team came in and prepared every game, even though they knew that their season has gone really well. Came in every game, practiced, prepared, like that they were going to face somebody better. So going through this whole process, I set up scrimmages. That was another big challenge because there wasn't many teams in the state of New Jersey that we were really able to scrimmage against because it wasn't worth scrimmaging. We went all over the place. We played different colleges and universities. We played teams from all over the country. I just Googled like Overwatch champions and insert state here and tried to find other teams that might have helped us build. And they did very well across all of that. I'm happy to say that the 2024 state championship is actually not the end of the road for these guys. After we won, and it wasn't as much of a challenge, I found a national league that we entered, and we're playing teams all up and down the East Coast. Over 100 and something teams that are in this bracket, and we'll be in the championship of that next week. So all from Canada to Florida, we've been playing teams. We actually finally had a somewhat challenging game. We lost our first set and came back to the last 3. So it's been amazing working with them. Honestly, like I feel like I feel like I've been watching a really good movie or like reading a really good book, and it's like had a really big impact on me myself. And I've been watching these guys play, and I'm like telling people, I'm like, this is amazing, they're so good. And it's like there's just so much, because unfortunately it's not like a volleyball game where you could go see us beat Westwood. It's something that's happening online, but to be able to watch them and be a small part of this has been very, very special, because I truly believe that they're one of the most dominant teams that this school district has ever seen. To start off as a team of freshmen and sophomores, go to the state championship, and then have 2 straight undefeated seasons and completely dominate teams in the way that they have has been absolutely amazing. I hope you guys know like how great you truly are, because it's been great watching you guys, and I really appreciate it. But I hope everybody realizes how special this group really is. I think it's been really great watching it. Unfortunately, people are graduating. We are losing Lewis, Nathan, and Brian. So it's not going to be quite the same team, but we do have 3 returners, Antonio, Max, and Alex for next year. So we're really looking forward to keeping on building this program. So. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Everybody come up. First up is Max, and he's one of our TPSs. Lewis, our TPS, Antonio, our sophomore TPS, Nathan, our tank, and our 2 supports, Brian and Alex. I have our belts too. Let me get the other one. Boom. I'll get the other belt too. Yeah. There's a resolution. Oh yeah.
Whereas the Scotchland Stanwood High School Overwatch 2 team was started in September of 2021 and joined Garden State Esports in the winter of 2021, which is comprised of over 200 schools. And whereas SPFHS Esports created a team that competed in Overwatch 2, a 5-on-5 combat game where players could choose from a pool of dozens of characters with different skills and abilities. And whereas this Overwatch 2 season was the biggest that Garden State Esports has offered in any title, with 67 schools across the state competing in the regular season. And whereas the 2024 SPFHS Overwatch 2 team was comprised of the following players: Nathan Arnold, Brian Bartley, Nikhil Desai, Max Gal, Alexander Jones, Antonio Quinteladino, and Louis Misano. Apologize. Not intentional. Whereas at the state finals on February 24th, 2024, the SPFHS Overwatch 2 team swept Old Bridge in a best-of-5 series and finished their 2nd straight undefeated season to win the 2024 Garden State Esports Championship belt. And whereas the 2024 SPFHS Overwatch 2 team exhibited outstanding talent, dedication, and teamwork throughout the season and was led by head coach Ray Moscow, this team received well-deserved recognition from fellow students, staff, and the Scotchland family communities for their outstanding efforts and accomplishments. Now therefore be it resolved that the Scotchland Family Board of Education recognizes and congratulates the 2024 SPFHS Overwatch 2 team and their coach Ray Moscow for their outstanding achievements and wishes them continued success in all future endeavors.
Say congratulations to all of you. It sounds like you did just have a winning season. You absolutely dominated and very, very impressive. And I also want to recognize your parents and caregivers for supporting you in what you're passionate about. I'm sure they had something to do with your success and helping you along the way. And also just want to feel like I mean, clearly you're bursting with pride for these students, and it's just so heartwarming to hear. And not only did you support them, but then taking it one step further and really cultivating their talent and passion by looking for other opportunities. I think that's really incredible. So thank you for supporting our students.
We're very proud of you and thank you for bringing such honor to the district. And thanks for leading us.
To add one other Dr. Pisces has been one big supporter and fan of this group and really a strong promoter. So thank you.
Well, thank you for coming in. You're welcome to stay for the whole year.
Thank you.
See ya. Have a happy birthday.
Thank you. And the period of 2024-2025.
Thank you, Dr. My favorite topic. I love it.
The tentative budget has been submitted. Board members of the public were invited to speak at this time. For financial investment budget. Everyone like to make a comment, public comment on the budget. Please come to the podium, state your full name and data which is on. Again, these comments at this time will only be for the budget.
Very much. As those who were here at the last meeting, it was brought to our attention that there was a mistake in one of the slides. Said there were two mistakes. In fact, there were 5 mistakes on that particular slide. And maybe on another slide it was corrected or something, I don't know. But it seems weird that we voted on something where we brought to the attention that there was an actual mistake in numbers. And, you know, the total was off by 100,000. I would imagine anybody, if you were voting on your salary and it was $100,000 less than what it was supposed to be, that would be something you probably wouldn't vote on. So again, just don't understand how we had a tentative budget approval with a mistake. And it just seems like the vote should have been postponed until that was fully corrected for transparency. And again, just putting it out there, because that's an important thing for visibility for people to see, you know, that we're proactively fixing. So anyway, just put it out there. Thanks.
Makes it sound right now.
Is there anything after these two?
I don't know if there's any national.
Do we have a public comment for that?
I might be able to like do something where
I don't know if it's.
See, I don't know, I was just wondering regarding the budget.
it's on the. So, yeah, the presentation is on finance committee. That's the presentation is significantly more details. So with the budget, the number of the presentation not actually the resolution. The resolution we had all the accurate numbers. Look at the presentation and see that it was higher year numbers and not pieced over. And the version that was presented, the version had it, that one didn't not have it. So everything's fully vetted to exactly just as all and it's fully before I presented, all the numbers were fully vetted by the county. It's very documents to the county, which they review in detail, and then they question, and they raise any questions that's not right. I had questions. They say the job on budget. Minimal. Discussion around the budget review and other presentations. I think most will add some kind of. Yes. Mrs. Morrow.
Yes.
Mrs. Brody.
Yes.
Mrs. Mariani.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Winkler.
Yes. Yes.
Moving on to public comment. Agenda items on. In accordance with the statute, the Illinois Public School Bylaw 0164-0165. Meeting will be open for 15 minutes for public comments. Maximum 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers is listed for items. Business functions and applications. Hardly makes speakers be less than 3 minutes. Speakers please put their names, please note, words used for public comment periods as the opportunity to listen to their concerns, not to make issues or enter into a question and answer session or cross-examination between the public or individual members. Please be aware that there are issues of what before the board that you can hear the board meetings for delegating the authority to assess any decision to the superintendent or designate as managers of school board association. If you would like to make a public comment, please come up to the podium at this time.
Chairman Morris Fanwood. This is a note I got from Brad Herman. He asked if I could read this. In a year where it would have been easy to accommodate Passover, given that Rosh Hashanah was during the weekend, it is even worse that the district completely disregarded the sacred first 2 days of Passover by scheduling not one but 4 events that I am aware of. These events include a 10th grade Vietnam history trip on the eve of Passover, a pre-K book fair, and a 6th grade book fair on the 2nd day of Passover, and the district-wide music festival on the 2nd day of Passover. This goes against the spirit of the district's and state's policy towards students and staff who are absent due to religious observance. Every one of these events could have been scheduled during a different week that would have been safely away from Good Friday, Easter, Eid, and Passover. In the future, the district should consult with the public prior to scheduling such events. And again, that was from Brad Turner.
Any other public comments this time? Seeing no there also is a portion of the meeting, everyone should be positional reports.
Regarding the school calendar and sacred holidays, we do really try to prioritize that, and when we put the school calendar together, in the spring, we'll be doing it within the next couple of weeks. I think part of the challenge that occurs is when changes are made to the calendar, and I think that I agree with Dr. Herman that certainly in the evenings of Passover, when the celebration begins, there should have been no event schedule. And we really worked on that. We did send out a communication reminding people. This year it was particularly challenging, I think, because usually Passover is a time that we do have spring break. And we will continue to pay attention to that and do better. But we did send out reminders to our teachers to be respectful that students are celebrating and to pay attention to testing and homework assignments.
We have lists to the board, there were 6 emails that were received to the board from the public, and they were forwarded to the appropriate administrator. Committee reports. We have several committee reports. Ms. Brody?
The finance committee meeting was on 4/15. Discussed the referendum update, and there was a community meeting taking place the next day, and the tax increase figures came out in June and July when the project got approved by the state. The Evergreen expansion update, we budgeted $3 million in the debt and phase approach with the demo, and then the construction starts, so it'll be phased. We discussed the healthcare for next year, and the fact that we're going to go in the end of it to available options of the healthcare for the staff. Food service, the selection committee will be formed to rank the bidders, and we discussed to do a survey to everyone in the district to gauge what parents, staff, and students want to keep in their food service. On the agenda, we have a safety grant of $6,000 that we're getting that from the insurance company rebate. Also, the transportation, the bids came in at 5.8% of CPI. And athletics, we're expanding our fuel cameras, and we're looking at sound system for both fuel. We're replacing boosters in the gym for the upper and lower in the high school. And we're paying for this out of the operating budget for cameras and capital reserve for teachers. And that's people. And I have community relations, so community relations meeting, also the same night. We discussed holidays on the school calendar in conjunction with parent communications. The discussion also focused on the criteria which holidays are chosen for the calendar. There are many factors, but most prominent are that want to reflect the diversity of our community, which includes staff who are trying to choose the most sacred holidays and populations with the largest representation. And I'm very excited about it.
Thank you, Ms. Brody. Any questions, Ms. Brody?
I have a great one. Okay, we had 2 agenda items when we met. One was regarding Childhood Health and Wellness. Our Director of Childhood Health and Wellness, Ms. Irusi, came along with our student assistant specialist, Ms. Dory, to talk about three different initiatives that are occurring in the district. First is Think Purple Week. Think Purple Week is kind of very comprehensive municipal alliance as well as the PTA work on Think Purple Week, and there are activities and lessons at every level, including elementary activities that focus on self-care, self-love, positive messaging. The mental health awareness club at the high school went and visited elementary schools to send this message. Middle schools had an assembly from Sam Anthony, who is telling us overcome addiction, mental health struggles, about mental fitness. And then they also spoke about the Green Dot program, which our district has been involved in for years. And Green Dot is about bystander intervention training, where witnesses are engaged to interrupt situations that are potentially high risk of violence. And so our high schoolers have been trained to intervene in such situations, and it was focused on the 9th grade for the last 10 years. And they're given a curriculum in a 3 to 4 hour module. So that continues. And the third initiative that they spoke about was teen mental health first aid. And this is a newer initiative in our district. Last year, SPF was the first district in Union County to train students in teen mental health first aid, which is a national program. It's given to juniors in our district. And it counts learning how to identify mental health needs in other students and how to respond to their mental health needs by going to trusted adults. SPF was recognized as the Mental Health Association for training more than 600 students, and due to its success, the grant was extended for 1 more year. 8 teachers are certified instructors in teen mental health first aid, PE and health teachers, and 1 media specialist, I believe. And it's been so successful in continuing in the future, the district might extend this type of training to parents. And finally, discussing mental health, counseling, and wellness. We had a visit from Lily Jansky, who's the high school president of the Mental Health Awareness Club at the high school, and she discussed with the curriculum committee the success of mental health awareness fair at the high school, which occurred on April 4th. She let us know that 16 organizations came to the table and 9 organizations gave short presentations. She also educated us on the mission of the Mental Health Awareness Club, which basically is providing a safe space for those who might be struggling with mental health and providing them with community. So there's a lot going on for our student wellness, which is very exciting. And the second agenda item that we talked about in curriculum, Dr. Gary talked to us about an extensive survey that was developed in terms of engaging where staff is at with AI. And what I mean by that is their knowledge around it and their experience in using AI in education and in their lives. So staff will be asked about their use and attitude around the use of AI in the last 6 months and their interest in using it educationally during the school year. The survey will delve deep into areas of what staff knows about AI, how they've gotten their information, which tools have they used, if they've not used it, why not, what types of activities they've participated in, such as research or training, and then asking for any examples that they might have to share. And so we'll look forward to getting the results of that survey. And our next meeting is April 30th. Thanks, Mr. Lee. Any questions for Mr. Lee? But if any reports to be done. I have a report for the Wellness and Activity Committee met on April 11th. We had a little bit about the joy that our students expressed in having their holiday week recognized on our school calendar. And we see this as well. Thanks for that. We also talked about the task force
Our previous faculty task force, the Center for Racial Equity, consisted of members of our Business and Equity Committee, and the administration, as well as some community groups, the parents and social justice matters, and some of our students and staff members and some others. In light of the current world events, different groups of parents and students are asking people who are recognizing these discussions with district administration. And we discussed different ways to create space for them to be seen and heard. We also talked about student involvement processes. We discussed setting up processes to encourage students to teach and mentor younger students in the district. We also students' purpose, responsibility, and opportunity, perhaps finding some of them will enjoy teaching and consider going into field. We formalize a process for inclusiveness and also for vetting how the students will teach to ensure inclusiveness and the subjects online with our strategic plan. We also talked about a continuing project during that using it would be a single 2-hour program for students to explore mental health and disability, expression, and the cost of the program is covered by a grant, and then people will have to the next few days is going to be the second. And any other reports? Seeing that, we'll move on. The board meeting schedule for 24-25 is your report. Any questions? Motion superintendent recruitment. Okay. The 24-25 meeting dates on the agenda. They have a motion to accept them as written. Is it all off? Second. Any questions, discussion about these dates? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. And any opposed? And any abstaining? Yes. Okay. I ask the board to approve the articles of placement. One, two, I ask the board to approve the bids from the March 23rd meeting and the field trips that were listed, as well as the nursing service plan for 24-25. With recommendation. So, thank you, Ms. Mariani. Is there a second? Thank you, Ms. Mariani. Any questions or discussions on those items? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And any abstaining? Motion carries. The personnel? Yes, I ask the board to approve the personnel agenda that we discussed this evening and exec. Is there a motion? So, thank you, Ms. Gordon. Is there a second? Thank you, Ms. Whitworth. Any question or discussion? This is a motion to roll.
Ms. Barber? Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Ruby?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Whitworth?
Yes. Motion. That brings us to the board motion of business. Mr. Jones?
Number one is staff training, material-related services, special education students. And number three is our conference with County Ed for our education. And then number four is Somerset, same thing, Somerset for around Somerset, couple coverage in County. Number five is the authorization to serve our RPC that Missouri mentioned in our county report. Number six, we agreed on our reserves from last year. We have to use a little contingency still in budget, so we can sort of Birmingham. That's that in the statement area, as already mentioned. Number 8 is effective school solutions, professional service, for students. Number 9, security cameras, was already mentioned. Number 10 is reward YMCA school season. Number 11 is teachers, was already mentioned. 12 is tax schedules for the municipalities. 13 library book disposal, 14 library bills, 15 monthly financial reports, 15 are first and second our bills.
Need a motion? So moved. Casey, so is there a second? Second. Ms. Brody? Any questions or discussion on any of those items we should go system? See none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Carried. Thanks, Mr. Jones. With policies. With policies.
I made my motion that the board approve second and final reading of the following policies. We have 40 educational equity policies and affirmative action, PP 15 comprehensive equity plan, PP 15 30 equal employment opportunities, PP 15 equal employment and discrimination practices, PP 22 60 open school and classroom practices, PP 24 11 guidance counseling, PP 24 23 bilingual education, PP 32 11 code ethics, PP 55 sensory sportsmanship, PP 67 50 equitable educational opportunity, PP 58 49 society, PP 58 42 equal access to student organizations, PP 66 vandalism and human life, and 23 notification of human life under case supervision.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any question or discussion about any of those that we can read? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Cooper. Would motion for minutes? We have approval of the minutes from March 21st. So moved. Okay, Amy is our first, and a second. Nora is the first, and that's the second. Any questions or discussion about those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. Any new portions? Seeing none. Other board business, liaison reports. Mr. Bella?
I will report out on the special education and art advisory group, CPAD. So for, little feedback that they gave me, which was, March, they held their specific meeting that was just for parents and caregivers. At the Scotland's library, and they, were able to gather feedback and converse with one another, and then bring that feedback, to Dr. Max and Dr. Avindas. Which I believe is something that we're doing on a regular basis. The April meeting was focused on revision of the bylaws and prepping for elections for the 24-25 school year. I'm going to go back to enhance that. And there's also with the meeting that among Dr. Avindas and Dr. Mass, there was discussions just about concerns in general, communication, transition, and inclusion. I attended the meeting on the 8th in April. I really was just blown away by how well this group has come together and are truly at this point now where they've got all processes and procedures in place to start rolling out more actual items. And so at that April meeting, some of the things that we discussed was loving inclusion, buddy benches. These are all things that I think CPAD is getting excited to sort of roll out and start looking at what their next big goals are.
But more importantly, I think for as a parent and as someone who's sitting on these, if you have a student who has received a 504 or IEP, this is a group of parents that you can reach out to for advice and information. And then we would collectively come up with the solutions or questions the board and the resources available to us are there for your communication. So I really, again, the strong shout out to the team at CPAB who has really brought together a great group, and I encourage those to walk through. And the next meeting is starting May 6th. You have to check items. Are we going to be? May 6th, check the building won't be here. But we check the website on the CPAB, there will always be the website, just for the special services. Thank you. Thank you.
And then the other one is the Garden State Coalition of Schools. Garden State met on April 17th, and we had a wonderful speaker and author, Jennifer Wallace, and she has written a book. I haven't gotten it yet, but I intend to, called Never Enough. And she started writing this book because she said that her children were leading such a different life from what she led when she was a child. And so she talked about some of some various data about challenges to schools. She mentioned that high achieving schools are not exempt, that they have 2 to 3 times more substance abuse and anxiety disorder issues. She had interviewed over 6,500 parents, and found out that 75% of those parents felt responsible for their children's success. 83% believe that they were even more responsible. I forget the terminology she used. And 87% of the parents wish that their license is stressful related to their students and their success. And the parents were very conflicted because they wanted their children to have the life. They were nostalgic about their childhood. They wanted their children to wish their children would have a life that they had had growing up. She talked about the fact that a lot of this parenting is very intensive, and there really is a better way. And really the crux of what she was talking about is that she also surveyed children, and primarily 18 to 20-year-olds, and she 70% of the children felt that their parents valued them more when they were successful and loved them more than they achieved. So they felt they mattered, and the contrast that she was talking about and emphasizing was mattering was the term that she used, and the need for kids to feel like they were valued by their parents despite success and GPA and grades and whether they had a no-no. And some of the quotes from students were, I wish they would have, my parents would have understood grades aren't everything. I wish my parents understood it's okay not to be exceptional and everything, and things along those lines. Basically, I think she was saying that parents love their kids unconditionally, but children don't always know that. That's not always what they feel. And that she also talked about a lot of parents feel like they don't matter in their jobs or in life. She talked about the difference between belonging to something and mattering, and This is all very intriguing. There were others there, I think they would echo that she was excellent, and I recommend the book.
The full title of the book, by the way, is not "There's Never Enough When Achievement Culture Becomes Toxic, and What We Can Do About It."
Yes.
I'll also add that since she was talking about parent mattering, as she has started a website and organization, matteringmovement.com. If anyone's interested in looking into that. And she did talk about some ideas in different districts things that different districts have tried to improve the culture so that all folks experience.
Absolutely. There is a lot on that website. And also in the meeting, which we always do, Garden State Coalition of Schools, is really our working advocate coordinating with all the other professional organizations. There's a lot going on in Trenton as usual. We're part of a literacy working group, and there was a lot of discussion around the budget. There's a voucher bill, an online bill, an observation bill, freedom to read act, charter school legislation. So there's a lot going on. And, I know you're getting some of those, so be sure to read those and keep up. And anyone can go to the Garden State Coalition of Schools website anytime.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Yes.
I was going to add to the bills that you mentioned that there is a bill to try to bring together the school budget calendar and state budget calendar. So that we're voting to the budget, that short turnaround with the state budget then doesn't get approved until it's like June or something like that, and then we find out whether the budget that we approved is actually approved.
Which is why one of the dates we approved our March meetings not the normal date.
Thank you, Ms. Whitmer. Any other? Workshop reports. Request to amend workshops.
We did, Amy Winkler and I went to I think it's the first, I think it'll be continuing. But we went to a women's leadership conference sponsored by New Jersey School Board. We were really glad we went. It was excellent. As if we hadn't had Mattering sort of brought to our attention. I know one of the sessions I attended was also about Mattering, with some other information that was shared. And I also went to an interesting one on equity and developing an equity mindset, and the whole sessions were excellent too. I thought they had a good keynote and a good panel at the end, and we went to some different sessions. Right? We went to one together and then we went to separately. Yeah. The sessions were excellent. The speakers were excellent. The panel discussion at the end was really excellent. We're all answering the same question a little bit differently. The things that they said that definitely rang true for all of them, and the things that were based on their circumstances. And it's interesting to hear the school board's people who whose idea it was to manage and bring it together and who they can try to get it to happen for about 100%. So it's a fun and hopefully it will become magical things instead of is there any other workshop reports? And then resolutions, there's resolutions that we need to approve. One is for Teacher Appreciation Week. The second one is for National Nurse Day.
And then the third one is voluntarily resolution to respect the staff recognition that's coming up. Can I have a motion to accept those resolutions? Thank you, Mr. Berger. This is a second. Second. Any questions or discussion about the resolution? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. And then that brings us to the second public comment. Any topic? Good morning, this is Godfrey, is going to public bylaw 0164 to 0165. The meeting will be open for 15 minutes for public comment. Maximum 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers addressing superintendent items, business functions, or other board business will be heard first. If there are time remaining, speakers may address other matters. Speakers will be using the podium, state your full name and town in which you reside. Please note, board sees the public comment period as an opportunity to listen to citizens' concerns, but not debate issues or enter into a question and answer session or cross-examination between the public and the individual members. Please be aware that not all issues will be brought to the board meeting tonight will be resolved this evening. Boards may respond to the public comment by seeking additional information or delegating authority to investigating the issue by the superintendent or his designee. That's from the New Jersey School Board Association. So if you'd like to make a public comment, please come up at this time.
Mary Morris, Manwood. I noticed that the online YouTube video was truncated. It wasn't the full meeting from the last one. So I don't know how that happens or why it would get cut off, but there's probably about 10 minutes at the end. And again, we have useful things like tonight, like you talking about that author and things like that. I think it's kind of a disservice that people don't get some good information that could be at the end of the meeting. So if there's some way to look into that would be great. Second thing is, since this is one of the things that got cut off, I talked about the social justice teacher academy. Again, just to reiterate what I said in the last meeting, I think it's kind of a disservice to students that may not be interested in social justice, that they don't have just a teacher academy. It's a social justice teacher academy. And the problem with social justice is your social justice is your neighbor's social injustice nightmare. And so you can have two people who have completely different ideas of what social justice is, and it just leads to problems. And I think we're all seeing this playing out in our universities as we speak. I thought I'd just add this one anecdote of an interview of a student at New York University. Again, they take top 10% in the class, in the graduating class. So this is the top-notch, top tier. The interviewer said, "Why are you protesting?" "I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's something about Israel." Turns to another person, "Why are we protesting?" The other protester says, "I wish I was more educated." Protester number one says, "I'm not either." And I think if we get back to focusing on the basics and things like that, and tone down the social justice thing, I think you create a problem where you have teachers who then are encouraged by that to become activists and impose their social activism on the children. And it's not, I don't think it's fair to parents. I don't think it's fair to the kids. I think the teachers should be neutral on things like that. And I think these types of programs create a problem. So that's basically it. And like I said, I think it's something that we should really think of reevaluating and just calling it a teacher academy. It just makes more sense. Why you have to throw the social justice part into it doesn't make sense. Thanks.
Thanks, Mr. So is there anybody else that wants to make a public comment this evening? Seeing none, we'll close this portion of the meeting and move on to the upcoming scheduled meetings. On Tuesday, May 7th, the regular public meeting will be at Beverly Hills at 7:30. Executive session and the public portion is at 8. On Tuesday, May 21st, meeting and staff recommendations for regarding every meeting in June. And on Thursday, June 20th, our regular public meeting, public portion at 8. Location is to be determined. Executive session will be at 7:30. At this time, I will close for the good of you.
Budget deal, and I saw in the agenda today that there was that we were on the grant. And in some conversations I had with you all had, but I thought it was helpful for the public to know, and I really wanted to shout out to the staff for always looking for grant opportunities and partner opportunities. I'm a nonprofit person in education, obviously. I really admire knowing the limitations and not having a big grant writer on staff, and I'm thankful to townships who work cohesively together during the granting directing. And more importantly, I think I get to see sometimes from the inside, watching teachers and administrators seeking out unique opportunities and funding resources. And so while passing our budget with big dollars, I really think I commend our district and individual partners and teachers for always seeking unique educational opportunities, but truly funding and being resourceful. And at that point, I'd like to say the public and our partnership together, our privy to grants and opportunities, please share with us. So thanks, Ms. Paula. Any other people? Ms. Brody? Dr. Vince? Right. Internal middle school, finding neighborhood here. It was really fabulous. It was a puppet show of different kinds. All of the performance, all of the singing was really remarkable. My 4-year-old was able to sit on it, so it was really good. It was really good. I feel it was good to go the last 40 minutes, so I'm so proud of myself. It was really good. Did you get a picture taken with Ema? I just was like, the next I saw all the boxes in the back. So for all the staff that's been packing, we all know moving is not easy, and having to move out of the space is a challenge. And people will find us somewhere where we're meeting, but I want to thank all the staff for moving and things that are in progress and taking place.
That's been something crazy, and that's, we don't have to try to raise money, so we're not a moving company, so we have just employees and all at the same time going and just putting things in boxes, and then the staff says, okay, maybe staff stop what you're doing, all the work, load up the boxes, take more, and then they come and again this Friday, payroll and done tomorrow, and okay, well, it's all over, and I buy some for everybody, and we're gonna try to load these boxes that are now put over, everybody jump in, and another not yours, but let's go. So it's just everybody for just really jumping in and getting their hands dirty to have happen.
Just to add an anecdotal story, given that it was take your child for work, that there was a child in my office who announced, this might be my classroom next year. Very upset. Just to stay consistent, it's crazy or drop off, so they're really careful.
And I hope everybody's safe and watch the eclipse. They're all safe in lessons. It's so nice that you gave us these classes so they can safely observe as well.
That was a big thing. It was really incredible. Lots of opportunities for science conversations. And also the arts integration, because the kids really can be visual, so what they see, what they saw, how they feel like there was something, but word of poetry. Okay, any other remarks? Seeing none, then everybody sees a motion to adjourn. So, thank you, Tanya, and is there a second? My motion is moved by voice parents. So, we have Ms. Williams and Ms. Winkler, and any discussion about that? I don't think so. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We can think so. Motion carries. Good night, everyone. Thank you.